I killed my best friend with my bare hands. Not literally, bodies don't work that way anymore. Not when souls can be traded like stocks on Wall Street, but I felt every crack of his ribs, as if they were mine. Every gasp for air stolen from his lungs. And, the worst part? He deserved it. Or at least, that's what I told myself when the swap hit. When Eden's life became my prison and his empire my weapon. It started in a boardroom on the 72nd floor of 1 Pen 1, overlooking the Hudson like God surveying his flawed creation. I'd been Eden Harlow for 28 years, mid-level analyst at Vanguard Capital. The kind of girl who crunched numbers until her eyes bled, who smiled through the glass ceiling because breaking it meant getting blacklisted. My boss, Victor Kane, 45. Silver fox with a jawline sharper than his insider trades, had called me in for a performance review. That's code for you're too close to the truth. Sweetheart. The truth was Victor's Ponzi scheme. A $200 million house of cards built on fake green energy startups. I'd found the discrepancies 6 months ago. Inflated valuations. Ghost investors. Money funneled to offshore shells. I confronted him in whispers, thinking loyalty would buy my silence a promotion. Instead, he framed me, planted evidence in my laptop, forged emails, doctored ledgers, making it look like I'd siphoned funds for a lavish lifestyle I couldn't afford on ramen and rent control. The feds raided my apartment at dawn, cuffs cold against my wrists, while Victor toasted champagne with the board upstairs. But Victor had a secret darker than fraud, his family's legacy of soul swapping. Old money from the Gilded Age, whispered about in Hampton's drawing rooms. The Kanes had a device, an antique chronometer, smuggled from Victorian occultists, capable of exchanging essences for 48 hours. It was their insurance policy: swap with underlings, commit the sins, swap back clean. Victor had used it before, on whistleblowers, rivals. And now, on me. The swap happened in that boardroom. He dangled the chronometer like a carrot, sign a confession, and I'd walk free. I refused. His eyes went cold. The watch ticked once, and the world inverted. One moment, I was staring at my reflection in the polished oak table, frizzy brown hair and coffee stains on my blouse. The next, I was him, 6'2", Brooks Brothers suit hugging a frame I'd only ogled from afar. His Rolex heavy on my wrist. No, my wrist now. Eden's body slumped across from me, Victor's soul puppeteering it like a cheap marionette. Panic hit like a freight train. I could feel his memories bleeding in, flashes of boardroom conquests, mistresses in the Hamptons, the thrill of ruining lives for a quarterly bonus. But I was still me, Eden, trapped in this thief's skin. The door locked with a pneumatic hiss. His security detail waited outside. Enjoy the view, Miss Harlow, Victor, my body sneered. Voice mine but laced with his venom. By morning, you'll confess to everything. And when the swap reverses, it'll be your word against mine. He left me there, staring at my hands small, trembling, nails bitten to the quick. 48 hours. That's all I had before I was back in my cell. Discredited, unemployable, while he sailed into a corner office. But something in his memory stirred, the chronometer's flaw. Overuse destabilized the soul bond. Push it too far, prolonged exposure, emotional overload, and the swap could lock. Permanent. I had a choice: play the victim or become the monster. I chose the latter. First, I called in sick, Victor's voice, smooth as bourbon, fooling HR. Then, I raided his office safe. Blackmail files on senators. Affair recordings with the mayor's wife. Leverage. But revenge wasn't a spreadsheet, it was a bonfire. I started small. Hacked his email from his own laptop, password, his dead mother's birthday. How poetic. Forwarding confessions to the SEC, subtle. Deniable. Just enough to trigger an audit. By hour 12, I was in his penthouse on Billionaires Row. Marble floors. Warhol prints mocking from the walls. His wife. Lila, blonde. Botoxed. Oblivious, greeted me with a kiss on the cheek. Darling, you're home early. The gala? I played the part. Charming her over salmon tartare. Learning her secrets, the coke habit. The lover in Tribeca. That night, in his king bed, I stared at the ceiling fan, his cologne choking me. Eden's life flashed, abandoned by a junkie mom in Jersey, clawing through NYU on scholarships, only to be betrayed by the man who promised mentorship. Victor had taken her fall for his son's college tuition scam years ago, framed her dad for embezzlement, drove him to suicide. She'd carried that guilt like a stone, and now it fueled me. Day 2 dawned with rain lashing Central Park. I suited up, his Seville Row armor, and hit the streets. First stop, the Federal Building. As Victor Kane, I confessed minor infractions, planting seeds of doubt. Personal oversight, I sighed to the agent, eyes brimming with crocodile tears. Eden Harlow? Talented, but perhaps in over her head. It twisted the knife, my own face on the news by noon. Analyst in custody for multi-million fraud. The real fun began at Vanguard's holiday mixer in the Rainbow Room. Crystal chandeliers dripped light like melting diamonds. Power brokers in tuxes swirled with socialites. I cornered the board, old white men with Scotch breath, whispering about irregularities in Victor's dealings. Paranoia spread like flu. By midnight, 2 directors pulled me aside, demanding audits. I nodded gravely, his charisma a drug I wielded like a blade. But Victor wasn't idle. In my body, he paced my holding cell, lawyered up, spinning tales of coercion. He texted from my phone, hacked. No doubt, Eden. Fight this. I believe in you. Gaslighting. Even from bars. I felt the chronometers pull. A psychic tether humming in my veins. 36 hours in. The bond strained, flashes of his youth invaded. A boy watching his father swap souls to bury a union-busting murder. Learning the family trade. Controversy brewed when I leaked the mayor's affair to Page 6. Kane's wife in love triangle, screamed the headline. Lila confronted me at dawn. Mascara rivers down her cheeks. Is it true? Vic. I held her, whispering half-truths, then slipped a baggie of her coke into her purse. Call it poetic justice, framing the framer's enabler. She fled to her lover, leaving me the penthouse and a clear path. The climax loomed, the SEC hearing, 24 hours out. Victor's empire teetered, stocks dipped 8%. I donned his face for the last gambit, a private jet to the Caymans, his slush fund island. Mid-flight, turbulence rattled the champagne flutes. I activated the chronometer early, overriding the timer with a memory trick from his mind. Emotional surge. Pure hate. Visions of my dad's noose. My mom's overdose. Fuel for the fire. Back in Manhattan. The swap reversed mid-landing. I jolted awake in my body. Handcuffed in a courthouse basement. Victor across from me in his smug as sin. But I'd rigged it. The chronometer. mailed to an anonymous tip line, ticking openly on the hearing table. Agents swarmed as it hummed, souls flickering like bad reception. Victor's eyes widened, recognition. The bond locked. Not fully, a hybrid horror. We were amalgamated, his cunning in my frame, my rage in his. He lunged, but agents pinned him. "You bitch," he hissed. My voice from his lips. No, his voice. Laced with my accent. The truth spilled in screams, swaps, frames, the suicide cover-up. Tapes played, files dumped online. Vanguard crumbled. Victor indicted for everything from fraud to manslaughter. Yet the twist gutted me. In the chaos, a final memory surfaced, not his, but shared. The original frame? I'd known. As an intern, I'd forged those emails for him, desperate for a reference, bearing my dad to climb. Betrayal looped back. I'd been the snake all along. Freed but fractured. I walked into the rain-slicked dawn. Victor rotted in Rikers, soul-tainted, whispering my name in mirrors. Victory? Or damnation? The city didn't care. It just kept spinning, devouring the weak. The hybrid lingered like a hangover. Victor's whispers in my skull during depositions, my fury twitching his fingers in his cell. 6 months post-swap. I was a ghost in the system, pardoned, but branded. Media dubbed me the whistleblower witch, tabloids speculating occult ties. Late-night podcasts dissecting the soul heist. Eden Harlow. From fraud suspect to folk anti-hero. But the checks bounced. No job offers. Wall Street shunned survivors. I crashed in a Bushwick walk-up. Sublet from a barista named Jax who brewed pour-over strong as spite. Nights blurred into bourbon and bad decisions. Anonymous drops to journalists. Doxing Victor's cronies. 1. A venture capitalist named Harlan, who'd laundered Victor's dirty millions through crypto scams. I catfished him on a burner app, Victor's charm. My bite, luring him to a dive in the village. Over IPAs. I recorded his boasts. Kane was sloppy. I buried bodies deeper. Uploaded to WikiLeaks by dawn. Harlan's fund imploded. Suicides whispered in boardrooms. But power's addictive, and Victor's essence clawed back. Dreams where I wore his face. Closing deals on orphans' trusts. I'd wake sweating, checking mirrors for silver streaks in my hair. The chronometer? Confiscated. Locked in a black site vault, but its echo hummed. A black market dealer in Chinatown offered a knockoff, $50K, sourced from Russian oligarchs. Temptation gnawed. One more swap, just to feel whole. Controversy escalated when Lila sued for divorce, claiming marital soul abuse. Court TV frenzy, her testifying in pearls. Me on the stand, voice cracking as I admitted planting the coke. It was mercy, I said, sparking feminist think pieces. Empowered or enabler? Protests outside the courthouse. Soul swap survivors versus Kane innocent. I dodged eggs from MAGA-type screaming witch hunt, while blue hairs hailed me as avenger. Deeper betrayal unearthed itself in Victor's residual memories. His daughter, Sophia, 16, at Dalton. She'd known about the swaps, watched him practice on the gardener, swapping chores for confessions. She'd idolized him, even helped frame me, forging my digital signature on a school project laptop. A kid, corrupted by caviar and cruelty. Rage boiled. I drove to her prep school in a stolen Tesla, his arrogance fueling the pedal. Sophia waited by the gates. Uniform crisp, earbuds blasting Billie Eilish. "Dad," she said, eyes narrowing at my face, Eden's, but with his gait. I pulled her into the car. Not kidnapping. Just a ride. We cruised the FDR. Manhattan's arteries pulsing. "You knew," I said, voice low. She shrugged. Teen defiance masking fear. "Mom said you were sick." The watch. "It's family." I pressed. Details of the Ponzi. Her role in my frame. Tears came. Then truths. Victor had swapped with her once, forcing her to bully a rival, scarring her soul young. Pity cracked my armor. "He's poison," I whispered. "Cut him out." She nodded. But the seed planted, use her. Back home, I coached her on leaks, texts from Dad's phone, exposing board bribes. Victor seethed in my mind. "You'll burn." Eden. Good. The tension peaked at the sentencing. Federal court in Foley Square. Air thick with flashbulbs. Victor. Shackled. His once chiseled face gaunt. Hybrid eyes flickering mine. "Miss Harlow," the judge intoned, "your testimony convicts Mr. Kane of racketeering, fraud, and conspiracy to commit murder." Cheers from the gallery. Boos from his old guard. Victor's gaze locked. Twist coming. "Sweetheart." He dropped it mid-plea. Eden wasn't innocent. She initiated the swap, blackmailed me with a device. Forced my hand. Gasps rippled. Evidence? A forged log from the chronometer. Timestamps doctored to show I'd stolen it first. The courtroom spun. My lawyer scrambled. But the hybrid bond betrayed him. His memories flooded public via a hacked feed. Live streaming flashes, his hand on the watch. My body crumpling. Pandemonium. Bailiffs wrestled him down. I bolted for the exit. Heart hammering. Outside. Rain again. Paparazzi swarm. Sophia texted. "I'm sorry." Here's the real log. Proof of his lie. Emailed to the DA. Victor's empire, remnants, routed through her trust. She burned it all. A teenage Icarus. Yet the reversal cut deeper. In the deluge. A memory not his. Not mine. The night before the swap. I'd hesitated. Victor offered a deal. 50/50th split on the Ponzi proceeds. I'd refused, but whispered, "What if we both win?" A seed of complicity. Had I courted the monster? Or was it his poison seeping early? I vanished to the Jersey Shore. A motel off the boardwalk. Waves crashing like accusations. Victor got life. No parole. Sophia emancipated. Off to boarding school in Switzerland. Me? Therapy bills, and a blog nobody read. Vengeance tasted like ash, sweet at first, then choking. Was I hero, villain, or just the fool who danced with devils? The chronometer's echo faded, but questions lingered. In America's grind, who swaps souls when the system's rigged to trade them daily? I lit a cigarette, exhaled into the salt wind. Freedom. Or just another cage. A year blurred by in salt-crusted haze. The shore became sanctuary. Dawn jogs on sand littered with syringes and sea glass. Evenings nursing IPAs at the Rusty Nail, where locals spun yarns of boardwalk ghosts. Eden Harlow. X-Wall Street Wraith. Blended in, faded teas. No makeup. Therapy speak with the bartender about trauma bonds. But Victor's ghost lingered. Not in dreams now. But headlines, appeals dragging. Cronies flipping for deals. His hybrid form wasting in Supermax. Reportedly catatonic. muttering binary code like a glitched AI. I'd built a fragile piece, freelance consulting for nonprofits, auditing shady charities, turning auditors' eye on the world's small scams. Jax visited weekends, his pour-overs a ritual, our talks veering from Foucault to fucking. "You're healing," he'd say, tracing scars on my knuckles, self-inflicted during swap rages. But healing's a lie, it's just scar tissue over the wound. The call came on a muggy August eve, humidity thick as regret. "Sophia." Voice cracked like puberty's echo. "Eden? It's me.
I
need help." She'd bolted Switzerland after a breakdown. Visions, she said, of her dad's swaps bleeding into hers. Back in the city, crashing at Lila's empty co-op, ghosts everywhere. "The watch," she whispered. "They didn't destroy it. Feds auction it off, black market now. Some tech bro in Silicon Alley bought it." Rage reignited. A pilot light flaring to inferno. The chronometer. Loose again. Victor's final play? Or mine? I booked a bolt to Penn Station. Heart pounding like the 7 train. Sophia met me at Grand Central. Taller now. Eyes shadowed like mine post-swap. Hug was awkward. Bones and unspoken sins. Over falafel in a kiosk. She spilled. The buyer. Trent Voss. 32. Crypto Wunderkind. Ex-Stanford. Building Solnet. A blockchain for essence trades. Monetizing the occult for the 1%. Controversy? This was apocalypse wrapped in TED Talk. Voss's pitch deck leaked online. Democratize immortality. Swap your midlife crisis for a starlet's youth. $10,000 per hour. Ethicists screamed. Regulators dozed. Sophia had infiltrated his gala as intern, glimpsed the chronometer in a vitrine, humming beside VR rigs.
He's testing it, she said.
On volunteers, homeless,
desperate.
Swaps gone wrong. Souls stuck in limbo. The decision tore me. Walk away. Let karma's will turn. Or dive back into the abyss. I chose the dive. Controversial. Reckless. American as apple pie laced with arsenic. We tailed Voss to his Soho loft. A glassbox fortress pulsing with EDM leaks. Security drones. Biometrics. But Victor's memories gifted cracks, backdoor codes from his old VC deals with Voss's dad. Midnight breach. Sophia distracting doormen with teen tears. Me slipping in via service elevator. His arrogance in my veins. The loft reeked of venture capital. NFT art glowing on walls. Servers whirring like mechanical hearts. Voss lounged in a hot tub, naked except for a neural link. Mid-swap with a proxy. Some starlet testing youth serum. The chronometer sat on a pedestal. Blue glow casting shadows like guilty secrets. He spotted me first, water sloshing as he rose. Towel low. Smirk pure bro. Harlow, the swap survivor. Fan. I lunged, but he activated a field, electrobarrier, zapping me back. Heard canes rotting because of you. Respect. Sophia burst and then, feigning hysterics. Trent. Help, paparazzi. He bought it. Turning, I smashed the vitrine. Chronometer in hand. Ticking hot. Souls screaming inside. The swap hit unbidden, Voss's hubris overloading it. Worlds inverted. I in his body, lithe and tattooed. Crypto wallet heavy in his pocket. Voss in mine, sputtering Eden's curses from Trent's mouth. Sophia froze, eyes wide. Finish it, she urged. But the twist reversed everything. In Voss's mind, A flood, not malice, but mirror. He'd been Victor's first victim, swapped as a teen to cover a hazing death at Stanford. Essence fractured ever since. Building Solna? Not greed, redemption. A way to unswap the lost. Horror dawned. My revenge chain. Victor framed me. I broke him. Now Voss, another pawn. We stopped this, I gasped, his voice mine. But the bond locked partial. Essences tangled three ways. Victor, Voss, me, in a psychic knot. Sirens wailed. Voss and me hit the alarm. Sophia grabbed the watch, smashing it on marble sparks. Smoke. Souls shrieking free. Dawn broke as Fed swarmed. Voss's empire seized. Soulnet code torched. I tumbled back to my skin. Hybrid echoes fading. Victor's cunning dulled. Voss's ambition quieted. Sophia hugged me fierce. We're free. Lila took her in. I got a book deal. Therapy paid. But the ending? Debatable tragedy. Victor died in custody, suicide, they said, but whispers of soul burn. Voss vanished overseas, rebuilding in shadows.
Me?
Back at the shore, waves whispering what-ifs. Vengeance closed the loop, but loop's scar. Was it justice? Or just trading monsters? America devours its avengers. I survived. Scarred but standing. The chronometer's shards? Buried in the sand. Ticking silent.
For now.
In the end, betrayal's the great equalizer. Deep as oceans. Hidden as tides. I light another smoke. Exhale to the horizon. Hook. Line. And sinker. Who's next?